10,000 fearless on the move.
Let's go!
Deep in the delta where the willows grow, in the soil stained by the blood of my ancestors. Punch bowl voices call out to my soul for justice. The wicked will reap what they've sown. Spirit of Aziz is back on the rise. Soldiers in the delta kept it alive. Time to stand up, take our place in the sun. Understand the time and what must be done.
10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. This is it. 10K fearless on the move. Mississippi. Sip.
Gotta make a move and take control. Have something we can call our own. So shine your light, help the people see that now is the time for us to be free. And if you waiting on the pie in the sky, you better wake up fast. They told you a lie, cause big fields await the wide awake man. Elijah's got the master.
10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. Mississippi. 10K fearless on the move. Mississippi. Sip. Injustice, we've had enough. All of our divisions we're breaking up. Destiny has been calling us. The spirit of the Most High is guiding us.
See, the time is now. What you waiting on? Quit shooting your brothers. Put your gun down. Come on. They got a cage waiting for you if you keep that up. Early graves coming to you. From that, can't raise you up. Now, Sister Ida B and Fannie Lou, check them out and you'll know what to do. But if you really want your enemy to be alarmed, read the final call. Follow Farrakhan.
10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. Mississippi. 10K fearless on the move. Mississippi. Sip. 10K fearless. 10K fearless on the move. 10K fearless on the move. In Mississippi, Mississippi. 10,000 fearless on the move.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be unto you, and welcome to another edition of the 10K Fearless Tri-State Podcast. I am your brother and friend Abdul Shaheed Muhammad, and your host. And we are certainly glad and so happy, joyously happy to be back at these microphones again to bring to you, by God's permission, or as we say as Muslims, by Allah's permission, information and edutainment that may aid us in our spiritual growth and development and service guidance in these troubling times. Please allow me to begin by acknowledging the Creator, as we say, in the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. I bear witness to the oneness of God, the oneness of his prophets, and the oneness of the scriptures that were revealed through them. We make no distinction between Almighty God's prophets and warners. We thank him for Moses and the Torah, or the Old Testament. We thank him for Jesus and the gospel, and we thank him for Muhammad and the Holy Quran. Please allow us to greet you with the greeting words of peace in the Semitic language of all of the prophets of Assalamu alaikum. Those words simply mean, may peace be unto you. Once again, brothers and sisters, we got a nice program, a nice robust program lined up for you this evening. We have on tap tonight our brother and friend, the warrior attorney, I like to call him, attorney Dr. Malik Zulu Shabazz, along with national civil rights activist John C. Barnett. I'm wondering, is he any relation to Ida B. Wells Barnett? I'm going to ask him when we get him. I see you on the switchboard, Brother John. All you have to do, brother, is press one of them circles and you are in. Okay, I see you should be coming up saying that you are a speaker. Make sure that you've logged on with the user ID and password, my brother. I see my brother, attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz is on. I just have you on mute for right now, my brother. Just stand by and we'll get started right at 7:30. But in the meantime, we like to lay some groundwork and some ground rules that we like to give to our listening audience that might call in. I don't know, you may, feel the gumption to call in. Don't be intimidated now. But we use what I call axioms to guide and undergird each conversation we have on this podcast. And those axioms manifest in the form of some quotes that I use from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and people like Marcus Mosiah Garvey, the great Carter G. Woodson, and others. I'll begin with one from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, wherein he wrote, quote, "He who gives you the diameter of your knowledge prescribes for you the circumference of your activity. Be careful who teach you, because if a man won't teach you right, or treat you right, I should say, he certainly will not teach you right." Second one from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, where he says, quote, "A slave is one whose power and authority is ruled over by another, and whose sphere of freedom is limited according to the wishes of his master," end quote. And I'd like to leave you with a third one from our brother Carter G. Woodson in his seminal work, The Miseducation of the Negro, wherein he wrote, quote, "When you control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his actions. You do not have to tell him to go here or yonder. He will find his proper place and will stay in it. You do not need to send him to the back door. He will go without being told. In fact, if there's not a back door, he will cut one for his special benefit. His education makes it necessary." I can assure you that the men we have as guests tonight have expanded their diameter of knowledge way beyond what was prescribed to us and our foreparents by our former slave masters, and their sphere of freedom is certainly not in accord with the wishes of a master. And I'm prayerful that we have a robust conversation, and I'm sure that we will. But in a moment, we're waiting on our brother William Muhammad. We got to have a farm report, because one thing about being in warfare, first thing your enemy do, he'll try to starve you to death, man. So in Mississippi, I got some brothers, man, that's got some land, and they are putting seeds in the ground, and they've brought some of those produce to Holly Springs in our study group. Believers have purchased those items, and I'm telling you, they're organic, no herbicide and pesticides and all of that. They are heirloom seeds. They are not Terminator seeds, and I'm telling you, and I got some of it that I keep in my home. My wife has canned some of these string beans that the believers and the brothers have grown down there in Mississippi. So in just a minute, hold on, see if Brother William is on the switchboard. Once again, Brother Barnett, I see you on the switchboard, Chief. I'm trying to get you in over here as a co-host along with Brother Attorney Dr. Malik Zulu Shabazz. He's already on over here on the switchboard as a co-host. Brother John, fixing to send you another invitation as we speak. You should see it register on your phone. Just click on it, brother, and you should come in. But Brother William, looking for you, Chief. All you got to do is come on. But before he comes on, as we always do, I'm going to take a quick break. And we're going to acknowledge those. We always got to, brothers and sisters, support those who support us. So we're going to take a quick break with some commercial announcements, and we'll be right back.
Worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call Radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button, or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
What's your source for truth in news reports?
Justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Where do you turn for non-corporate driven news that's fair and balanced?
Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot.
Subscribe to the Final Call News, your #1 free and independent news source that delivers hard-hitting national and international news coverage of today's political, economic, and social issues. To subscribe to local home delivery, call us at area code 662-252-8999. That's 662-252-8999. Visit our website at www.finalcall.com.
The Urban Indulgence Bath and Body Boutique. At Urban Indulgence, we pride ourselves on offering quality, effective skincare. Handcrafted with plant-based, skin-loving ingredients, our soaps and body butters will give you luxurious lather and ultimate moisture. Experience the Urban Indulgence at 3314 Poplar Avenue in Memphis, 3 blocks west of Poplar Plaza, or shop with us online at theurbanindulgence.com. Theurbanindulgence.com.
10,000 fearless on the move.
And we are back live at the 10K Fearless Tri-State Podcast. We have on the line our farm reporter, brother. He's the student minister of agriculture for the Holly Springs, Mississippi Study Group. He's a farmer at heart, man. He's a jack of many trades, and the brother, he's very proficient at very, very many things. But Brother William, are you there, sir?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear, black man. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam, sir.
What's going on them 7 acres, man? We got seeds in. Let us know what's going on. Fall crops or what?
Yes, sir. I'm actually scheduled to be going back out there tomorrow to do some work. And Brother Musa was telling me that next weekend, not this weekend, but next weekend, we should be able to pick some string beans, some squash, and hopefully some okra as well. So, inshallah, this Sunday of next weekend, we'll be able to bring some things up.
Praise be to Allah, brother. I'm certainly looking forward to the broccoli in particular, brother, and that spinach and lettuce, because I got a couple of raised beds here at the house me and my wife work on, brother, so we're going to put something in the ground as well to ensure, because, you know, these food prices, brothers and sisters, we must consider that the weather calamities in their intensity and frequency will definitely ill affect the yield for crops in the coming seasons. So we would be wise to have some seeds in the ground so we can eat, or we're going to pay some very exorbitant food prices. Brother William, you got a lot of background noise, Chief. Where you at, in a tornado?
Actually, I'm driving. I can pull over so that maybe you can
let your window up or something, brother.
Okay, what about now? How does it sound now?
There you go, soldier. So now you're nice and clear. Before you part ways,
yes,
anything else you want to tell us? Because I'm going to preface tonight's program with an audio clip from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan that I'm sure everyone will find very, very interesting and very, very enlightening. So what you got before you part ways with us, my brother?
Yes, sir. I just wanted to help promote the Nation of Islam staple goods program, which we are inviting the public to order staple goods with us. The order will begin this month on the 17th. So anyone who's interested can go to noimoa.org and look at the list. Then they can contact me. Sometime next week we'll be putting as a matter of fact, I can go ahead and put that out now. So if anybody who's listening wants to get in contact with me, yes, sir. My number is 662-425-2646. That's 662-425-2646.
Okay.
And if you're interested in purchasing non-perishable staple good items, go and look on the website, noimoa.org, and then contact me personally, and we can try to make arrangements to get you some staple goods.
Very good. Thank you so much, brother. Let's give our brother a round of applause for that wonderful report. Man, we certainly appreciate you, Brother William. Keeping us in the loop, soldier. And black folks, look, white people they're storing up food. Now, it's better to have it and not need it than to need it and not have it. So get with the Staple Goods program of the Nation of Islam, and you can order right from us through our dear brother William Muhammad of the Holly Springs, Mississippi Study Group. We're located at 165 North Ida B. Wells Street. You know, Memphis Street got renamed to Ida B. Wells. That's a good thing. So contact us. Sir. You can even email myself at DreMuhammad1, the number 1, @gmail.com. All right, Brother William, thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam, sir.
That's what I'm talking about. Brothers and sisters, we're going to get to the program, but I want to preface tonight's program with a brief excerpt from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And Brother John, it looks like all else has failed, brother, so just call me direct on my cell phone. And just as I had Brother William on, I can have you on that way because I don't see you on the board yet. I see our dear brother Malik Zulu. Zulu's going to sound a lot better than you because his audio is going to be crystal clear, I can assure you. So if you have any background noise, Brother John, make sure you take care of that before you call in, all right? But for now, I want us to give attention to this audio clip from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Savior's Day 2014. Take a listen.
Now look at Brother Malcolm.
Now wait a minute, Farrakhan. Didn't he break away from Elijah Muhammad? Yes, he did. But why you got him up there? Well, wait a minute. I'm running this show. If there were no Malcolm to break away from Elijah Muhammad, there would not be any Black Panther Party. He is the father of those movements that were militant economically, politically, and militarily. There he is. Say, you got Brother Khalid up there. That's right. I got him up there. That's my brother. I'm not going to let you define for me who should be in the pantheon of those who struggle to see us free.
Come on. Yes, sir. Brother Khalid worked with me from the very beginning. Yes, and just like it is, wait a minute. You say, but he spoke very bad about you when he broke, minister. Really? See, the devil wants to feed on the negative aspect. I choose to feed on the positive aspect of my brother and his contribution to our struggle. If you have a problem with that, then you got a problem with me. Now, Che Guevara and Fidel Castro were brothers, revolutionaries together. At some point, Che Guevara said to Fidel, I think I want to leave now. I've helped to do my part, and I want to go and spark revolution in other countries in South America. They parted as brothers. You don't know that when people are traveling a path, sometimes they come to a point where they disagree. Haven't you experienced that in your life? That you have friends, companions in struggle, but at a certain point they disagree with you? Khalid had a disagreement with me. It's okay. If Khalid were alive, I believe he'd be right here standing with me. Because his chief disciple, stand up, brother, Malik, Shabazz, attorney, he came up under Brother Khalid. He loved Brother Khalid. But he's been here every Savior's Day, every Day of Atonement. And I have no doubt that all of the streams are going to be one day.
And we too believe that all of the streams one day are going to be one. Dear brothers and sisters, let us bring to tonight's podcast our brother, the warrior attorney. I'll call him Attorney Dr. Malik Zulu Shabazz, along with our brother John C. Barnett, who is a national activist. Brother Malik, you there, sir?
Yes, can you hear me?
Man, loud and clear and crystal clear. Brother John C. Barnett, if you would, brother, just call my cell phone directly, man, and we'll patch you right in. How you feeling tonight, Brother Malik?
I'm doing just fine, dear brother. All praise is due to Allah for your crystal clear delivery, your great spirit, intelligent broadcast, and for these divine words from a master teacher,
yes, sir,
the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I am more than honored to be on with you on this 10,000 Fearless broadcast. I am honored.
Yes, sir. And we got our brother who just chimed in, brother national activist, John C. Barnett. You there, Brother Barnett?
Yes, sir. Absolutely, brother. How you doing?
Man, I'm blacktastic and getting better, man, that I got the two warrior soldiers on the line tonight. Let me begin first, dear brothers, by thanking the both of you for accepting our humble invitation to be on tonight's program. And we are always prayerful that something will be said to benefit us in our spiritual growth and development and to serve as some guidance in these troubling times. Brothers, I want to get right to it. I want to afford you the opportunity to organically and unfiltered introduce yourselves, because especially where you're concerned, Brother Malik, man, you know, when the media paint us to our people, they use a brush that most of us wouldn't use if we had it to do ourselves. So, brothers, start with you, Brother Malik. Introduce yourself. I listened at you in Mississippi, man, and you gave some info about yourself and your family that I didn't know, that I found quite enlightening.
Yeah.
So, please, brother, go ahead.
Dear sisters and brothers, my name is Brother and Attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz. I am a national attorney fighting against the evils of police brutality, and I'm fighting in the federal courts and with our people across this country. I am also a long time, since Howard University, long time student helper, disciple and successor to that great black man who had been in our midst, the Honorable Khalid Abdul Muhammad. And I am also a product, a student, and a son of one of the greatest black men that has ever been in our midst and greatest leaders that has ever been in our midst, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I'm also, not only am I a litigator, but I am an organizer. And I have been organizing for decades. I have been the chairman of the New Black Panther Party. I am a well-known organizer and advocate in what they call the Black nationalist community. And I'm a revolutionary and a freedom fighter on this broadcast who also operates as an attorney. And my family's from Mississippi. My mom was a secretary for Medgar Evers. So was one of my aunts.
Good God.
And I'm back in the Mississippi as a child of this process, and happy to help be bringing down forces of white racism and terrorism and white supremacy. I'm honored to be in this fight.
Praise be to Allah. And brother, if you don't mind, you said something about your father. in terms of what he was pursuing prior to his departure from this life. Do you mind sharing that? I just found that very interesting.
No problem.
Brother. Yes, sir.
Yes. My father, James Lewis, may God rest his soul, was in law school in California when he transitioned from this world's life. And I'm able to, all of these years later, to fulfill that and to go on and to practice law and to fulfill the vision that my father was cut out from. And I'm honored to continue his legacy. He is the son of Brother Thomas X. Thomas X and my father are from Akron, Ohio. Thomas X, as is written in my book, the Book of Khaled, he joined the Nation of Islam in 1955. And in Los Angeles, California, he's a real estate giant in the Nation of Islam during the time of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and Minister Louis Farrakhan. And so my granddad, Malik El-Amin, or Thomas X. That's who introduces me to Minister Louis Farrakhan and introduces me to Minister Wazir Muhammad, another minister, a mentor of mine, and they introduced me to Minister Khalid Muhammad. So all praise is due to Allah, honestly speaking, for the Nation of Islam.
Yes, sir.
And the effect that it has had on my life, the effect that it has had on Black people, and I say that with deep respect.
Praise be to Allah, man. You come from revolutionary stock, brother. I'm telling you.
Sir.
Brother John, man, do us the favor and pleasure of introducing yourself to the audience, sir.
Yes, sir. Most definitely. First, I want to acknowledge God for allowing us to be on this call. I want to give a big shout out to my big brother. As always, I'm always going to acknowledge him. At a press conference in Raleigh today where I'm fighting to get a sister out of jail who's been sitting in there for 4 years. And I hold on tight to the Book of Khaled by my big brother, attorney Malik Zulu Shabazz. I just definitely got to highlight the fact that I've been blessed to meet 3 powerful lawyers. I met Johnny Cochran, the Honorable Johnny Cochran, may he rest in peace, at a breakfast. I went to church with him in Mount Vernon, New York, with Reverend Sharpman. Just recently, about 8 months ago, shook hands with Benjamin Crump as he helped me fight for Shankrella Robinson's sister who was killed and beat by our own friends in Mexico. But when I met Brother Malik Shabazz, it has literally changed my life. I now see a person who's not only an attorney, but an activist at heart. And it's always good to have a good lawyer on your side or have that cell number. But I want to thank him openly on this line. He has been one of the biggest inspiration to me in the last year and a half, fighting in the streets of Emmett Till. He didn't just send me to Raleigh, he showed up himself. And I didn't always get that in the past with the other attorneys and other activists. So I just want to make sure I acknowledge this brother who has been literally a big inspiration to me. My lifestyle, my life was changed. In 94, I went to the meet. My brother was shot in the back by my cousin over a pair of tennis shoes in Clover, South Carolina. I came home from church. My grandmother said she had heard some shooting, but she didn't know what was going on. I went around the road to see my brother laying on the ground, gasping for air for over an hour. You know, a white man put his lips on my brother, trying to bring him back to life as the paramedics fought to keep him alive, but to no avail. And a year later, I was going to Charlotte, and I was going to church on Sunday morning, brother, but I was going to the mosque, sneaking in there at 2 o'clock at Mosque 36. That time it was Brother Ray Muhammad, I believe his name was, William Muhammad. And then you got Brother Corey Muhammad, so forth and so on.
Yes,
so
sir.
as I began to go, they was telling me about a 1,000,000 man march. I said, well, let me try this thing out. So I got prepared to go and got in the car with 3 Muslims out of Charlotte. At that time, brother, I was on unemployment, no job, probably had $60 in my pocket, true story. But the Muslim brothers all had jobs. They had independent jobs. So when I got to the gas pump, all 3 of them pulled out gas cards.
Wow.
I remember traveling to D.C. and they began to tell me about Minister Farrakhan. And I was asking questions about Malcolm X. So at that time, I'm wearing the Spike Lee hat with the X on it. And I just watched the Malcolm X movie. But as I traveled 6 hours to D.C. from Charlotte, North Carolina, and to the 1,000,000 Man March, I didn't know going there would have changed and altered my life. And what I mean by that is that on that day, I heard some words come out of Minister Louis Farrakhan's mouth, and he said, "Go home and write one brother in prison and help him do his time in prison." Well, the deacon board didn't help me write my brother in prison. I came home and immediately started writing my brother's killer in prison from the words that came out of Minister Farrakhan's mouth. And I was standing right beside MC Hammer, but his records wasn't selling, so I really didn't get a chance to get his autograph. But there were 61 speakers there that day. When I came home, I started prison outreach. And brother, as you know, as I closed, 300,000 men were in prison when Dr. King was alive, black men. Yes, and today there's almost 1.3 million. But because of Minister Farrakhan, because of the message that he gave, to go back and forgive my brother's killer, I came home and began to write him. When he got out of jail, I took him to church with me. But I want to most always thank them for that, because not only did I have the book in my hand of Malcolm X, not only did I have that message from Minister Farrakhan, I wanted to do something more. So in 2008, I began working in the field of civil rights full time. And closing out, we've been blessed to have thousands of members across the country. We've gotten 31 cops fired, just recently 6 with Brother Malik. We got 6 cops fired in Mississippi, 6 deputies. But I've also been blessed to get 32 people out of jail. They all highlighted on my page on Facebook, John C. Barnett. And I'm just thankful to be on this call and thankful to be on this road for justice and equality for our people.
Yes, sir, brother. And I certainly thank the two of you for being here. And let me back up just a touch. I always like to acknowledge and give shouts out to the pantheon of the strugglers down in the Delta. Of course, shout out to the believers of the Nation of Islam, starting in Hattiesburg, Brother Kazim, all the way down in Hattiesburg, coming up north to Jackson, Mississippi, Student Minister Abram Muhammad, certainly in Greenville, Student Minister Larry Muhammad and Brother Basil Muhammad, and of course in Tupelo, Student Minister Conway Muhammad, and I'm your brother in Holly Springs. We want to shout out to Yaga and CVL, the Conservative Vice Lord's Brother Maine C. Of course, acknowledge the soldiers down in the grassroots making it happen for our people. Growth and development, of course. Also, the Geronimo Pratt Gun Club and Brother Lorenzo Sims and Sister Catherine of the New Black Panther Party and the Black Liberation Movement, my brother Lumumba Patrick Alexander. Love y'all, man. Shouts out to you. Stay on Sirat al-Mustaqim and end the struggle. So let's launch this thing, man. Let's get it done, okay? Unbeknown to many of you all that are listening, and thank you, listening audience, for tuning in. I see you all on. Thank you all so much. These two brothers have been in the Delta struggling, and I wouldn't say struggling. They've been kicking backside from my perspective down in the Delta. And how did the two of you end up together, Brother Malik and Brother John? How did you all cross paths and start this work down in the Delta in particular?
Okay. I met my brother, John Barnett. I call him the Honorable John Barnett because he's doing an honorable work. I met him on the battlefield. I was teaching actually in North Carolina, and he came to a lecture where I was teaching and been invited by the New Black Panther Party in that state. And ever since then, we struck up a relationship. And the first cause of action that we went into battle for was for the arrest of Carolyn Bryant Donham, who was involved in the murder of Emmett Till and who a warrant had been discovered, an unserved warrant had been discovered in the LaFleur County, Mississippi courthouse last summer. And therefore, we were able to track her address to Raleigh, North Carolina. And as soon as we needed help in North Carolina and in the city of North Carolina, there was John Barnett that came to our aid in North Carolina right away on Carolyn Bryant. I mean, and he shows such tenacity, which has become his trademark, tenacity and consistency. I mean, so we struck up a natural relationship because he went to full activist mode, not only in North Carolina and Bowling Green, Kentucky and Mississippi, all the way around till we come around to this historic struggle against the Goon Squad in Rankin County, Mississippi. And so I meet John Barnett as a kindred soul because, my career begins as an activist And, now I can't be out there like Brother John Barnett in every city and city per week because I'm on pleadings, summary judgment motions.
Yes, sir.
I'm battling neck to neck with city attorneys and county attorneys who are intent on beating down black people and their mamas who are victims of police brutality. Right. So I have to now, I'm on full legal mode. So while I'm fully locked down with the litigation, he keeps up the agitation. And so, and we're both sincere about this. So that's how we meet. Yes. And let me give a shout out here also to Brother Kareem Muhammad and the Justice Party for Mississippi.
Yes, sir.
Kareem Muhammad, Justice Party for Mississippi, Brother Markel Bridges, Sister Sherelle Potts, the Emmett Till family represented by Miss Priscilla Williams Till, and everybody that has fought for this historic actions for justice against the goon squad, who we not only did they able to enter and arrested, no, they pled guilty. That's right. They're headed to federal prison, and on November 14th, we are all going to be there to make sure that they serve the proper time in federal prison. But there is no trial coming up. They have pled guilty. That's how strong of a results that we have been blessed with, and it has come about as the result of this great unity you all are hearing about on this line in the great state of Mississippi.
Yes, sir. That's what my brother, student minister Abram, calls it, the great state of Mississippi. And the past several episodes, we've had Brother Kareem Muhammad on. That's my soldier there, man. Brother Kareem's been on this program several times. In fact, he was on it before we changed the name from Mississippi on the Move to 10K Fearless Tri-State. And also Brother Markel has been on. Markel Bridges and some of the families, we allowed them to come on and use our platform to tell their story because, and this segues into the next question I have, brother. I mean, you kind of went into Carolyn Bryant Dunham and her and the ordeal dealing with the fact that a warrant from 1955 was found. And before I ask this first question, I want to ask, what was the justification? Because I understand that they decided not to prosecute her, and now she's passed away. So what was their justification or their argument for not pursuing her with warrant in hand?
Well, the stated justification, as alleged by the attorney Dwayne Richardson, what he does is when the warrant is served, he runs out and quickly conducts another grand jury without consulting with anyone, the family, or letting anybody know what his evidence is. And he quickly goes in the back room and comes out and says, he convened the grand jury and there's no probable cause for Carolyn Bryant, and with a warrant that is mysteriously found in the basement of his courthouse for years. Now, you mean to tell me he is the attorney in LaFleur County and he's a United States District Attorney, and he couldn't figure out in all these years that he had to convene a grand jury against Carolyn Bryant till someone found a piece of paper in his basement? Wow. What it is, my dear brother, is that this has been one of the biggest cover-ups in the history of all-time America. And it's certainly perhaps the largest cover-up in the state of Mississippi, a state with many cover-ups. Yes, and the truth shall come out. I mean, I'm telling you this. The truth shall come out. Priscilla Williams Till, one of the Till family members, she's running for the United States Senate in 2026. Okay. Black Lawyers for Justice, myself, and shout out to my honorable attorney brother in Mississippi, Trent Walker. As we get level here in this battle and ranking, we're going back to open the files legally And we are going to conduct a full inquiry into the entire history of who covered for Carolyn Bryant, who hid for Carolyn Bryant, and who is behind this grand conspiracy to deny true justice for Emmett Till. Just like they dig into the Kennedy assassinations,
that's right,
and they have dealt with it on Capitol Hill.
Come on.
At Black Lawyers for Justice, we do what the state and national authorities won't do. And so everybody should stand by because it's not over yet.
Yes, sir, man. Look, we must applaud that. And rest assured, brother, when you get elbow deep in that, man, and please, we would like to offer this platform for you to come and give us updates to the Mississippi and the Delta audience on how this thing is going. Because, brother, we have to create our own avenues whereby we get our information out. Democracy Now! Is cool and all of the others, but we have to have some avenues whereby we can get real-time information out, okay? But
absolutely.
Hey, man, listen, also, brother, Mississippi and the Delta has always been known as, that dark corner of America where a lot of these atrocities, I call them, acts of terrorism by local police. And I don't mind saying that, but I'm a cop myself, but I ain't stupid. I'm a black man first. It's always been a place where those kinds of dark occurrences never see the day of light. How did this get into mainstream media, or in the light, I should say, this thing with Rankin County? How did it make it to the daylight? Because normally, brother, we would have never heard anything about it.
The way it makes it to the daylight is, first of all, from Almighty God Allah Himself.
Yes, sir.
And it makes it to the daylight through belief. And in this manner, okay. This typically happens throughout Mississippi and Rankin County, and everybody shuts up and goes about their business or else. But due to laboring in Mississippi and working on the Emmett Till case pro bono, persons in Mississippi, including Miss Sherelle Potts, had gained confidence in me as the attorney. And so when the other attorneys believed, or that had heard about it, believed that Michael Jenkins was a criminal, and they also, nobody wanted to touch it. Mm-hmm. But Shabazz got the call and started to work it.
Yes, sir.
And I worked it behind the scenes, meaning that I started intense investigation and advocacy for the family. Mm-hmm. They were dogging Michael's mama and daddy. Mm-hmm. They had the same criminal county that had tried to assassinate him and tortured him, had him terrorized and surrounded in a hospital room, and they wouldn't let his parents have access to him.
What?
And they would not let his parents have access to him. They had him chained to a bed like an animal after lying on him and saying he had a gun and shot the police and had some dope and had lied. They all pled guilty to what I'm saying. And had him chained to the bed and surrounded like this was Nazi Germany. And the mama couldn't get, they couldn't get any action at the hospital. When you call to get his medical condition, you don't get a doctor, you don't get a nurse, you get a deputy from Rankin County. Wow. And they tell you if you want to ask about the man's medical condition, you got to call Rankin County, some phone number at Rankin County Police Department to find out whether he's alive or dead or not, if you his mama or his daddy.
Good God.
So under these outrageous circumstances, using my administrative skills, I start to focus my mind and go to work. So I go to emailing and calling and getting on the hospital and threatening this and that and citing this law and that, and I getting on their behinds. And pretty soon the hospital recognized that if they don't let him see him and start to doing this, they gonna face some liability. And the county realized that somebody is on it. Bottom line, they raised up off of him. And in the process of getting them to raise up off of him, and then still had to pay bail, We had to pay bail, and let it be known that through all of this that I'm talking about, they still have Michael Jenkins bail money. I'll come back to that. But and fought through all of that and got his parents access and basically my brother through just labor, investigating hours. I couldn't believe it at first. I say, all my experience, I get all kind of calls. Some of it's all true, some of it's 75% true, some of it looked true, but later or not, it was 40% true, And so I'm a trained investigator, so I'm on with Eddie Parker for days and hours. Right. I can't talk to Jenkins because he's injured. Mama wasn't there. Right. And so I'm testing Eddie Parker in every way. And the bottom line to it, through work, through believing in these men, then coming to Mississippi where they say, don't come, you'll be assassinated. Right. Don't speak out about this. No, we started to not only speak out about this, we started to get busy with notices of claims and just doing everything, brother. It was a by any means necessary strategy, all out through the litigation, through the legal efforts, through the advocacy efforts. When nobody believed it was true, we kept advocating and pushing it, dropping letters and pleadings to the Department of Justice until and then just the God of Justice was with us, and the God of Justice was with us, and the wrath came down on the goon squad, and history was made.
Man, praise be to Allah. Brother John, anything you can add to that, my brother?
Yes, I just want to reiterate what Brother Shabazz just said. Had to fight to get in the hospital because I'm going to tell you, my brother, they wanted Michael Jenkins to die. They wanted the brother to die. His caption, I think the CNN used, so he was seen across the whole world. People have a little bit of story and information on it, but they got to understand this is not 1955 or 1953. This is 2023. And two black men sitting in a house, not bothering nobody, probably watching TV and having fun and just laughing. And then 6 white officers come in and torture these young men like it was almost worse than what they did to Emmett Till, if not the same. I don't want to compare the two because Emmett Till lost his life. But to be waterboarded, to force them to suck on sexual instruments, to have them tased multiple times. Matter of fact, one of the deputies said, "We're going to tase y'all. We're going to see which one of y'all are the strongest." 1960, what kind of mindset is this? And I was telling somebody the other day, a lady was asking me, "John, why do you think they did it?" I said, because I remember Minister Farrakhan saying that in the Quran, don't quote me because I'm a Bible studier, but he said something about the sins of the grandfather will visit the grandchildren. Yep. And I said, the problem with the Rankin County deputies is that there's not them. What did they granddaddies do? Was they saying the N-word over and over again in 1955, 1960? Did they throw rocks at Dr. King? So what happens is when you don't get rid of this mess, it's like cancer. If you don't kill cancer with chemotherapy, it's going to come back. And so what happens is these are the grandchildren of these races that lived in the 50s and 60s. And now I was able to witness. Me and Brother Kareem sat in the courthouse together, right? And I was able to witness 6 cops be shackled. They put tape on the back of their backs, and I said, "Why y'all got tapes on the back?" I asked the guard. I said, "What's the tape for?" They say they don't want to let them know where to jail, what jail they in. I said, "Well, y'all didn't have O.J. Simpson, y'all didn't have Bill Cosby, y'all didn't have R. Kelly's. Why y'all trying to have these cops now?" But to know that right now, because of the efforts of the biggest and baddest, most requested grassroots attorney in the country, Attorney Shabazz, due to some decent activists, Brother Kareem and Sister Sherelle Potts, who introduced this case to us, because of all of our efforts together, I now have labeled us as the Justice League, brother. Yes, and I know I don't want to go cartoonish on you, but Brother Malik is Batman, and I tell people I'm Robin. And we got a Wonder Woman on our team, Sister Sherelle Potts. And Brother Kareem is Iron Man, right? Because he's tough as steel. And I use this energy for us to continue to fight these racist individuals down here. We have made history, brother, and I don't want to brag about it.
That's all right.
There's never in history been 6 deputies fired at one time. And I've seen them white boys walk in there with shackles on their feet, like the song says. And right now they eating cold grits, trying to figure out how to get out of there. I caught eyes with one of the deputies, brother, in the courtroom. I got to tell you this.
Yes, sir.
He looked around about 10 times, and he just looked at me, and he looked at the guards. It was as if he was trying to find a way out of there, but there was no way out. And right now, on November 14th, I don't know if Brother Shabazz want me to share this, but I'm going to share it. I know he want me to. On November 14th, brother, in the last 2 months, I've watched these cops get federal charges. Then the next month, Brother Malik said, gas up your car. We're going back down because they facing state charges. And now on November 14th, as they paraded Michael Jackson to jail, we're going to watch these cops get sentenced. And we broke their back because you both need legal assistance in this world nowadays, especially in this country, and you need civil rights. There would be no George Floyd if it wasn't for Benjamin Crump and some decent activists. These cases have to now be fought not only with lawyers, but now they have to be fought with civil rights because there's still a bunch of old racist white judges that's still sitting in them seats. And I'd be a fool to think that they're gonna give us the right justice that we need when we're fighting in these courtrooms. I'd be a fool to think that. Absolutely. And so in saying that, I'm just thankful that we were able to get the job done. And now we're getting calls. More people in Mississippi is calling. Sister Monica has called us about her son, Brother Cameron. And so the list goes on and on. And we're going to try to do our best to help all of these families. And in saying that, I'm going back to Mississippi this weekend.
Yes, sir.
I got a brother working at a prison being discriminated against named Fred Chambers. He's on right now. And his press conference is Tuesday in front of the courthouse. And so I'm just thankful to be able to be used and help our people. And it's the best joy in the world.
Yes.
And it's the best feeling in the world because I get gratitude out of helping people. And it's the best feeling in the world. I literally tell people 73% of people in this country hate their job. I heard that once. 73% of people in this country hate their job. Well, I must be a part of the other 20% because I love my job.
Praise be to Allah. And man, look, we're going to talk because we get calls. I got calls and get calls too, but we'll talk offline on that. God willing, because our y'all's plate is going to be very, very full. But brother, when you mentioned it's not 1955 and you drew the comparison, I have a book that's entitled Without Sanctuary, Lynching Photography in America. Some may be familiar with it. It's a book I purchased. You can't get it now for under $300. When I bought this book, I think it was probably around $40. It's a hardback. But my mind, when I was reading about the Rankin County incident, my mind went to a lady named Mary Turner, whose husband had a dispute with a white man that he worked for doing carpentry over money owed. But to shorten the story, the brother, they had words, but later the white man didn't want to let it go. The brother was done with it, so the white man goes and get a pistol and confronts the brother, but before he can approach the brother was holding an axe, threw the axe and instantly killed the white man. It went into his head. Well, white people went into jail, dragged that brother out and lynched him. Well, his wife, who was the widower, she was 8 months pregnant at the time of his murder, and she said she was going to hire an attorney and seek out those who are responsible for her husband's death and have justice rendered. Don't you know, brother, that a white mob went to this black woman's home, 8 months pregnant, dragged her from, now this is not some movie, this actually happened. The Associated Press covered the story. They went to her home, dragged her out with her 8-month belly full with child showing. They hung that sister upside down from her ankles from a tree, doused her dress with gasoline and set her afire. They shot her over 100 times. And afterwards, the baby was still moving in her womb. They used a slaughtering knife that they used to slaughter hogs, cut that sister's abdomen open. The baby fell to the trunk of the tree, whereby immediately one of the participants crushed the baby's skull with the heel of its boot. See, this is why they don't want critical race theory or anything black in terms of history taught in America's school.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second, brother.
Yes, sir.
What? Tell me that case in that year again, because
let me look in the book real fast.
What's that? Because we've heard that and we've taught that for years, but I think you're now giving me a citation on it, and
it's
I think we need to stop for a moment.
Okay. Look, let me look it up.
Okay, well, you could, yes. I want to. That was in Mississippi.
No, I don't think it was in Mississippi. I was going off the top of my, but I got the book here in my library. What I'll do is I'll pull it offline and I'll text you the information. Matter of fact, I'll take a picture of it in the book itself, and screenshot it and send it to you. Okay.
All right. Well, let's stop for 1 second, man, because one thing that I dealt with and had to really slow down with in the Michael Jenkins and Eddie Parker cases, that we can't make light of black suffering.
Thank you.
That's right.
The allegations in the Michael Jenkins and Eddie Parker case are so extensive that when I'm preparing a complaint, and I had to debate with some of my other legal partners, my complaint is almost 50 pages. It's 49 pages because every constitutional violation, every act of wickedness they committed, I separated as a separate tort. And when I'm dealing with the case, I never rush through it because America and the world is used to making light of black suffering. And so, so you're going to say, well, Negro, he got assaulted, tased, and slapped in the mouth with a dildo, and that was it, blah, 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 blah. And just like you tell it, brother, do you realize what you just said, brother, how much that actually not only hurts me, but how angry that makes me.
It's fuel, brother. It's fuel for the fight.
And how the efforts that Brother John Barnett and I are putting up, and we putting some historic efforts up. But brother, without speaking too much any further, because I do watch my words. You know what I mean? But I have to tell you, brother, that they better be lucky that I'm doing this. That's all I got to say. That they better be lucky that they gave me a law degree and doing this. Yes, and that's all I have to say. They be lucky that they have confined me to this law office in this hour because what has been done to our people is intolerable.
That's right.
And it's only out of intelligent desire to remedy this condition constructively would prevent me from taking alternative means. And that's all I'm going to say.
Yes, sir. Brother, believe me, I understand. And that's why I read passages and bring those to the mind of my audience, because we like to trivialize, whitewash, and water down what happened to us. No, brother, what happened and is happening to us is absolutely horrific, man.
That's right.
I mean, and I'm not me, and like you, brother, I'm not going to countenance allowing people to belittle, to minimalize in any way the level of atrocity and terrorism that we suffer in 2023. But brothers,
that's right.
We're going to keep moving, man. It's interesting to me that they couldn't find the heart to ease up on Bill Cosby, but they found it when it came to Carolyn Bryant Donham. You know what I mean? But at any rate, brother, like Brother Kareem Muhammad, Greenville, Brother Markel of Building Bridges, as I said earlier, those brothers have been on here and with several families who still live and suffer under, the fear that they live under. Share with us, brothers, in your experience, either of you or both of you actually, the emotional toll or the emotional state of the families. Because I know when I go down in Mississippi, I can feel it, brother. I mean, when you're, you can feel, you can cut the fear that they live under. But what has been your experience, and may be the same as mine, of our people that you deal with living in those conditions under white power structures in these small towns?
I would say that I don't know, just coming from the streets of Clover, watching my brother die, 9 friends in prison, I really believe that God has allowed me to be numb to that. I mean, literally all my 9 friends and cousins are in prison. Same guys I used to sit up under the tree with and play cards and spades and have fun and laugh and break dance with. Like, they're all locked down in the South Carolina prison. If you don't know, South Carolina's number 3 or 4 with the most black men in prison. So because of all these images that I've seen, shootings at clubs and hiding up in the cars and drugs in the car and the whole nine, I think God allowed me to see all those things to make me numb psychologically to all of the victims I've helped. I've helped over 150 mothers whose sons have either been murdered or murdered somebody. from Charlotte to Florida all the way to, D.C. And so in saying that, I think I've been numb to it. So it's funny you asked that, because the sister asked me today, John, how does it put a toll on you mentally? And I tell them, sister, I get my Starbucks and I wake up every morning asking God, show me somebody I can help today. And so when I go to Mississippi, it's a little different. You can cut the fear, but the brother that's on the call tonight, Brother Fred Chambers, is now an activist in training. So I'm going to give you the hope side of things, which means when I first met him, he said, man, I ain't never seen nobody speak like that. So since then, in the last 30 days, this brother showed up for me in front of the Fulton County Jail, because brothers are dying wholesale down there. Every month a brother's losing his life. And it's not because of old age. It's because they stabbing and killing one another.
That's right.
And then I went to Missouri. Brother Malik assigned me to go to Cape Girardeau, Missouri. 10% black people out there. And my sister Latoya Parker, my sister out there standing strong, was tased just for videotaping the cops. And then I seen my brother Fred show up again. And I told me, remind me of the brother in the movie with Malcolm X, who walked up to him as a student, and he came to the mosque that night. And at the end of the movie, he had a bow tie on. He was a part of Malcolm X's group, his organization. So what am I saying? Well, I see fear, but I believe that Michael Jordan, who I'm not really a bigger fan of, he said something that was very interesting. He said, fear is an illusion to me. And I remember Minister Farrakhan telling Brother Malcolm X and Minister Farrakhan, Elijah Muhammad told Minister Farrakhan and Malcolm X, he said that don't you bow down to nobody but God, right, even if you got to go in front of a firing squad. So what I see it as opportunity to go down there and break that fear up and give people hope. And if I didn't help nobody else in Mississippi, I helped Brother Fred, who I'm fighting for this Tuesday, but happened to be on that line. Now everything I do is civil rights. She said, brother, what y'all got going on next? I want to be a part of that. And I don't know what I'm doing. All I know is a wise activist told me, he said, no matter how dark a tunnel is, it can be 2 miles long or a mile long. He said, if you strike a match, you'll be able to see that person. You'll be able to see that light. And in my lifetime, in my journey, my goal is to strike a match. Even if it's a mile away, it can be dark. We can be going through hell, people getting stabbed and shot and killed and shot in their mouth. I'm just trying to strike that match, because hope, my brother, goes a long way. And so that's my goal, is to bring that hope in the midst of that fear, Mississippi. And I know exactly what you're talking about. It's a different type of mindset. And it's the same mindset in Louisiana. But it's our goal to bring that hope to them, that they may stand up and fight.
Yes, sir. And by the way, Brother Malik, that incident with Mary Turner was in Valdosta, Georgia. That's where it was. But I'll get all of that information.
Valdosta, Georgia. That's like Kendrick. That's Kendrick Johnson territory.
Yes, sir.
Oh, no good, Georgia. Okay.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Tell us what your sentiment is and what you feel from the people when you were among them in the
small towns. Yeah. Well, my experience is continuing to teach me that organization and mobilization is absolutely critical in every instance. And when it's coupled with the right lawyers, with the right heart and the right litigation, it can be a powerful combination.
Yes.
So we start here, like, for example, West Virginia is 98% white. Okay, so in the year 2006, a young black woman named Megan Williams was brutally assaulted by some white supremacists and taken up into the mountain and mountains and so forth. And this was in 2007. And so, I come into this town as who I am, and I come under heavy resistance from the white authorities there. But through persistence on the legal end and persistence in knowing how to reach my sisters and brothers and how to work a town. The skills I learned from Brother Khalid, Dr. Khalid Mohammed, the things I learned from Louis Farrakhan, the things I learned from being an activist. By the time I get through working in Charleston, West Virginia, and organizing them, well, the state of West Virginia now is for the first time ever applying hate charges, which carry enhancement penalties, meaning more time on these defendants due to this intense legal advocacy and also us organizing with the community, which culminated in what we had was a national march against hate crimes. It turned out to be the largest mobilization, or what they call mobilization in West Virginia history.
Yes, sir.
It worked in the cause for justice. And so this same combination and strategy has worked. It's just working in this today. It's a by any means necessary strategy.
Yes,
I mean, here we go in a small in Rankin County. I mean, it's no one ever has held a meeting. According to what they tell me, there's never been a meeting held against police brutality ever in that county. And the general law was that if you held a meeting dealing with race or any racial issue, they would burn your church down.
Whoa.
But here today, as of a couple of weeks ago, when Dr. Cornel West came there, Rankin County is on fire. Rankin County, black people are standing up like never before in honors to the most honorable, that Sister Angela English, the head of the Rankin County NAACP, who has risen like Fannie Lou Hamer.
Come on now.
And despite cancer, this black woman who comes to me and us by the way of Trent Walker, she has risen like a mighty phoenix behind enemy lines with no fear, and she is a key reason why Sheriff Brian Bailey is on the ropes right now and while the goon squad is behind bars. The grassroots organizing, unity, coming together, being willing to engage in the field, in the courtroom, by whatever means, petition, letter writing, other things we can't talk about. I mean, it pays off.
Yes,
you know, organizing and mobilizing pays off. I don't want nobody to ever think that going out and coming to a demonstration is a waste of time. As a staunch nationalist and a man trained by the Nation of Islam, I can tell you that at least the demonstrations that I'm involved with, they don't have no weakness at all, and they absolutely are critical to producing results. So when Kareem Muhammad and the Justice Party and those other greats, the Till family, when they hitting the line against State Attorney General Lynn Fitch, and she's backpedaling and putting out statements, and when black people are watching and they said Mississippi wouldn't rise, CNN man came and saw me in Trent Walker's office, and he tried to downplay Mississippi as compared to Minneapolis or Louisville and act like Mississippi wouldn't rise. I'm telling you, Brother Minister Shaheed, I was personally insulted. And I thought to myself, do you know who we are and do you know who I am?
Come on.
But I didn't say it. But I went to work. I need to tell you that every bit of activism you've seen out there in Mississippi, you may not have seen me at that demonstration, but my fingerprint is all on it.
Come on now.
Because I'm not, because in the end, but praise God for the men who went on the line and carry it out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But I'm an attorney that fully supports activism down to my pocketbook, man. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I know what they're facing and dealing with. And so, man, it's a new day. These new strategies and tactics that we're working with represent a new day. And Mississippi has suffered a long time, but it's right now. It's the number one state in the nation.
Yep.
And it's got some remarkable unity in it. And brother, I mean, these strategies, you know, but we tell no lies, claim no easy victory. I think that's Frantz Fanon or Amilcar Cabral. We know we got a tough road ahead.
Yes, we
but
do.
Man, black love and black
right,
unity and being willing to sacrifice and work together and
That's
compromise with each other and be active is paying off in this hour.
That's right, man. I think, man, both of you brothers, man, thank you for your responses. And when I was in Jackson with you all, brother, and I felt this when I came to Mississippi and started to work the terrain and make an assessment of what I was assigned to do based from Holly Springs. I followed the pattern of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I know we needed some airwaves, and I know we needed to get that final call out to the people. And I know we needed, somewhat of a more modern platform in order to bring our people together. And that's what this 10,000 Fearless podcast serves as. It serves as an information hub where you can get real-time data that's unfiltered and unadulterated by other media sources. So, brothers, we're going to take a quick break, man. And we got to, of course, always we got to acknowledge those who have supported us. So we're going to take a quick break, brother. I got a couple more questions before I let you all part ways. So just stand by and hold on. We'll be right back.
Give my life just to live forever. He who weaponizes the blood of martyrs said, get your children ready for the slaughter. Blame the patriarchy, thank your fathers. But every racist devil had a racist mama. When strange fruit meets forbidden fruit, your hands up today, don't shoot. So say my name. Really can't afford this price of fame. Who knew the guy had a boomerang and he called it karma? She ain't never shied away from no drama. From 1555 to 1955, we watched it intensify. Some still believe the lies, cause niggas too scared to believe they eyes. My fear died in the Tallahatchie. Rose from the dead, can't catch me. Patrons say nothing.
The Urban Indulgence Bath and Body Boutique. At Urban Indulgence, we pride ourselves on offering quality, effective skincare. Handcrafted with plant-based, skin-loving ingredients, our soaps and body butters will give you luxurious lather and ultimate moisture. Experience the Urban Indulgence at 3314 Poplar Avenue in Memphis, 3 blocks west of Poplar Plaza, or shop with us online at theurbanindulgence.com. theurbanindulgence.com.
Worldwide, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Download the Final Call radio app and take us everywhere. On your phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. You can also log on to finalcall.com and click the Listen Live button or finalcallradio.com. Final Call Radio, the official voice of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam.
What's your source for truth in news reports?
Justice, no peace. No justice, no peace.
Where do you turn for non-corporate driven news that's fair and balanced?
Don't shoot. Don't shoot. Don't shoot.
Subscribe to the Final Call News, your #1 free and independent news source that delivers hard-hitting national and international news coverage of today's political, economic, and social issues. To subscribe to local home delivery, call us at area code 662-252-8999. That's 662-252-8999. Visit our website at www.finalcall.com.
10,000 Fearless on the move.
On the move. Yes, we are back. I am your brother and friend and host, Abdul Shaheed Muhammad. You're listening to the 10K Fearless Tri-State Podcast. Tonight we have on with us our August 2, and they serve as a body of men. Our brother Malik Zulu, I should say attorney, Dr. Malik Zulu Shabazz of Black Lawyers for Justice, and our brother national activist John C. Barnett. Brothers, as we get ready to land the plane, we got about 15 minutes left. I want to get into the organizations you all have established Maybe one more question after that. Brother Malik, tell us about Black Lawyers for Justice, man. I know I visited your website. There are 2 other attorneys that I saw on there, and I think it's a entity that needs to be supported by our people. Share with the audience what you would like them to know about it, sir. I'm sorry, brother. Please forgive me. There you go. Go ahead.
Okay. Yes, and before I go further, I want to let everyone know that I will be speaking and a part of the National Reparations Convention. That's October 7th and 8th at Georgia State University. October 7th and 8th. There are over 40 national reparations organizations that will be at the university. Georgia State University in Atlanta. I want to invite everyone out. It will be historic. You can go to nationalreparationsconvention.com to get further information.
Yes, sir.
Okay, because certainly beyond that, we deserve reparations.
Yes, sir.
Black Lawyers for Justice was started actually in 1996 upon my exit from Howard University School of Law. Right now, it is, as we state, it's a smaller group than the National Bar Association. That's the big organization of Black attorneys. But we are a small tactical operation that's being very effective in this hour. Currently, our board of directors has 90 years of litigation experience against cities, counties, police departments, and so forth. So I'm not just representing myself. I'm representing the collective body of wisdom of some of the strongest attorneys in the country. Many that y'all don't know, but they are some of the pioneers of the police litigation and going up against police departments when it wasn't popular, and when qualified immunity ruled the day. I speak of the Honorable Greg Latimer, who is retired but on our board, one of my advisors. I speak of the civil rights freedom fighter attorney Donald Temple, my sister queen attorney Fatima Thomas, and Fatima Johnson in Indiana, and the Honorable Brother Trent Walker here in Mississippi. My brother, just legal organizations, we have to, we aim and strive to do specifically for Black folks what the ACLU does for many different kinds of folks.
Right.
And they do certain things for some Black folks, get them credit, but they do many different things. Well, this is the work that we're doing in Rankin County. This is the kind of work that Black Lawyers for Justice does. As we go further, I'll give out our website is blackrightsmatter.org.
Okay.
blackrightsmatter.org. Here are 2 things that we're doing as we close. Right now, if in Rankin County you have been a victim of police brutality or a victim of the Goon Squad, Hunter Elwood, Christian Dedman, Brett McAlpin, Joshua Hartsfield, Daniel Updike, Middleton, if you have been a victim of them, of any of their beatings or crimes, or sent to the hospital and have some evidence or made a report or some evidence, go to blackrightsmatter.org. We want to know about it.
Yes, sir.
We may have class action. We believe we have class action against Rankin County. If you tell us what happened to you, you're helping Damian Cameron, who we have just hired, a new forensic pathologist expert that is going to pull the cover off of the fact that the state of Mississippi autopsy process is suspect.
Yeah.
Not only in Damian Cameron case and the Mario Clark death case, Jackson, Mississippi, 2019, and plenty more cases y'all about to holler out on this phone that I don't even know about.
Come on,
the Mississippi state autopsy process is now the cover officially, legally is being pulled off. And so we're working with experts and spending money behind the scenes to get the truth out. So stand by. If you go to this website and tell us what not only the Goon Squad, but what other Rankin County officers have been doing, and the city of Pearl, for that matter of fact, we need to look at your claim right away.
Yes, sir.
I know there are 82 counties in the state of Mississippi, and we're getting all kind of calls. And believe me, we're getting we're going to be answering you soon. But as for the rest of September, we're completely dedicated on investigating Rankin County. So to conclude, we're opening up a complete investigation into Rankin County. That's where we are. We've asked the U.S. Justice Department to do this. Certainly, we thank them for the prosecution of the Goon Squad. But the policy of Black Lawyers for Justice is we don't just ask the government or the state to do that which we have power to do ourselves. So in the spirit of T.H.U.G, self-determination, we are investing the resources and the labor at around the clock into investigating Rankin County. And so if you go to blackrightsmatter.org, we want to hear from you. And lastly, on November 14th, we want everybody to be at the United States District Courthouse for the Southern District of Mississippi in Jackson, Mississippi at 9 a.m. We want the whole state, the nation, to come to the sentencing of the Goon Squad.
Yes, sir.
We must let the judge know that we care about this case and that we want the maximum sentence in this case, and that we are not just happy because we saw them out there in their jail uniforms and behind bars. Right. You cannot go to sleep on white racism and white supremacy.
No, sir.
You get to dancing in the end zone and you will miss the extra point and lose the game by 1 point.
Come on.
Okay, so not only do we want you to be there, but if you will stay tuned to blackrightsmatter.org over the next week or so, we're going to want you to sign petitions, sign our letters, and we have places for you to write and call so you can let the judge know in advance that this is the most serious police brutality case in the nation and you want the most serious sentences and that you care. Yes, Black Lawyers for Justice, again, is going to the limit for the sentencing campaign. Most civil lawyers are not going to do this. They're going to try to get you some compensation or some money. They're not going to engage in the activist, and they're not going to be caring about sentencing. They're not going to be pressing the U.S. Justice Department with labor hours. This is what we do. We're all out for justice. November 14th, Goon Squad, maximum sentence. That's what we're after. Yes, Bring down Sheriff Brian Bailey. He's the supervisor of this Goon Squad, and the cover must be pulled off. He's not fit to be sheriff. So from you hear, from the tone of my voice and from the schedule, that the struggle continues.
Yes, sir. And brother, rest assured, if you feel it necessary to come and give a divine reminder to this audience, we can do that by being reminding people of the date of November 14th. And I certainly will make provision and adjust my schedule, God willing, inshallah, as we say, to be there. Brother, thank you for telling us about Black Lawyers for Justice. Brother John, man, I hear this acronym you be using that most people think of it in a very, very negative context, and it's THUG. But the way you use it, brother, is so divine. Could you please share with us what that is and other things that you are doing with regard to your activism?
Yeah, I sure will. I'll be glad to. THUG was created from three entities. My belief in God. That's why I have true healing under God. Reading Malcolm X's book literally changed my way of thinking, my whole mindset. In 1991, 92, when I first got the book, I heard Spike Lee had the same experience, and so did Denzel Washington and Heavy D. May you rest in peace. And of course, Tupac Shakur. I'm a big hip hop fan, and took Tupac because he was a very knowledgeable brother. Right. So I wanted something negative to stand for something positive. So I came up with the acronym True Healing Under God. As far as our activities, I'm right behind Brother Malik. He don't know, but I just booked his room in Atlanta. I want to make sure the brother is comfortable, so he's gonna get his confirmation in about 5 minutes. I'm gonna be standing with him. I'm proud of him standing with those major organizations from across the country that's gonna be in Atlanta on that great day of October 7th and 8th. This weekend, we're gonna be in Mississippi. I'll be both in Oxford, Mississippi, and in Jackson fighting civil rights for those who have been violated. Mm-hmm. And definitely looking forward to going back to Mississippi again November 14th.
Yes, sir.
But primarily what THUG is it's an outlet for help. There's a lot of cases I've shared with Brother Malik, and he's done free consultations for me. I don't want to plug that too much. I want to have the brother working for free. But he's talked to some of the victims that have called me, and I say, Brother Malik, I'm not a lawyer. I need your expertise on this. So T.H.U.G is an outlet for lawyers, and I'm blessed to have access to 35 lawyers in 15 states. I've been blessed to even go to South Dakota to get a brother out of jail for a dog fight. Mm-hmm. So the key to what I do is that what happens, brother, is, and I tell these pastors this, is that when you're sick, you go to the doctor. When you got a toothache, you go to the dentist. When you need prayer, you call your pastor. But what do you do when you've been violated? Mm-hmm. What have you been going through wrongful termination on your job? And what do you do when you've been shot in your mouth and you're living in Rankin, Mississippi? You have to get an attorney. So what I've done is not just scream no justice, no peace as an activist. I can do that real good. I did that for years with National Action Network. But the key is to make sure you have some resources. A doctor can't do surgery without a scalpel, and a dentist can't do dental work without his equipment. So the key is that when people call us, we talk to them, we learn about what kind of case they need, and we give them the remedy to it. And more importantly, we give them the access to the lawyer if that's what they need. And I'm blessed. We get 60 calls a week from across the country. I mean, I got to tell you, brother, just yesterday I got a call from Wichita, Kansas. I don't know nobody black there, but I'm helping a sister tomorrow in Wichita, Kansas with her son.
Yes, sir.
So that's the blessing behind what we do. Is that we're not just a civil rights organization. We have access and resources to lawyers. And if they need to contact us, our Instagram, you got to plug that. It's Civil Rights _CEO. Again, that's Instagram, Civil Rights _CEO. That's John Barnett. And on Facebook, it's John C. Barnett. The people have called me the Prince of Civil Rights. So if you see that, that's what it is. And we'll definitely be willing to help them. And our phone number is 803-412-6854. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we'll travel where you are to give you some help.
Yes, sir. Praise be to Allah. I want to say before I get this last question in, brothers and sisters, I want to reiterate, not verbatim, but certainly in principle, what the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said back in 1995 to that nearly 2 million black men that he talked to. Before they departed, he asked them, and I'm talking to the listening audience, he said, go home and get involved. Join an organization that's involved for the struggle or in the struggle for liberation of black people. He mentioned some. He said, join the Nation of Islam, join the NAACP, join the Panther Party, join black lawyers. If you're a black lawyer, call Black Lawyers for Justice. Get involved with brothers like John C. Barnett. We need an all-hand decks on approach to what's happening to black people, particularly in the Delta and certainly throughout these United States of America, because power concedes nothing without a demand. And Brother Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan amended that statement by saying power won't even concede to a demand when the one who's making the demand does not have the testicular fortitude to make power concede. So brothers and sisters, last question, brothers, what do you think about what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad has said is the best and only solution for the race problem between black and white people in America? What do you think about separation? Because white people in Europe started with these words: when in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for two people whose political ties have bound them together. And if you're familiar with those words, that's the Declaration of Independence. What do you think about black people considering separation?
Okay, I want to say this as I close. We want to thank you, Brother Minister, for your most advanced dialogue. We want a copy of this broadcast so we can spread it. Right. We honor you, and we honor the Nation of Islam for its contributions to our struggle all the way back to 1930. Yes, and we thank the Nation of Islam for its influence on all of our lives, and its influence on our thinking, and influence on who we are. And so we will answer the question. I will answer the question like this. There are goon squads all over America, and the goon squads being born, and goon squads have died, and they're being born again to do more goon squad activity. I hate to tell you this. When I was in Jamaica, and as I'm went and returning, I'm buying me a home in Jamaica, because I like the feeling when I get to Jamaica when it's a black man flying me in, black stewardesses, blacks running the airport, blacks this, black that, everything, black, black, black. And I know it's not perfect, and I know there's neo-colonialism, but when I was in Jamaica, you know, I as much as whatever, I'm in the newspaper, I'm appreciated, or I have this, or I've achieved that, but I was not looking forward to coming back to America. I was not looking forward to constantly have to keep battling white supremacy and saying I want justice, and I got to be up all night filing papers to get justice and working hard. And I mean, I work hard, but I just, brother, I want to be in a nation of my own. Yes, I believe the bridge to ultimately, though, because that's just my personal situation. Well, I can afford to buy me a home in Jamaica and plan my future there, but not all of my 40 million brothers and sisters cannot. Yes, sir. Therefore, I believe that the bridge to self-determination and what they call separation is a bridge, which is self-determination and reparations. I believe that that we must practice and be engaged in the struggle for self-determination and reparations, and understand that ultimately that our ultimate goal is for land and territory of our own where we can live in peace. And so that we will only have to worry about the internal defects within ourselves, because we have had enough of being beaten, terrorized, shot, and destroyed by white racism and white supremacy. You know, in the meanwhile, we struggle. So along the lines to this process, just meet me at Georgia State University for that National Reparations Convention, October 7th and 8th. Yes, and support the activities of the Nation of Islam and hear the divine words that come from the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, the Honorable Khalid Muhammad, Honorable Silas Muhammad. I mean, you all have given us the knowledge. We think just the knowledge alone, brother, has saved millions of lives, and we thank Allah for you.
All praises are due to Allah. Thank you, dear brother, for that response. Brother John, what are your thoughts on the concept of separation?
You know, it's funny. I'm telling you, what you're saying tonight is literally confirmation. Talking to a brother the other day. When I look at, and you're just looking at just the basic reality. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. And in the last year, they suspended over 4,000 black boys from school. I told my mother this situation and what was going on with these numbers. She said, "Why are they suspending so many black boys?" I said, "Why do you say that? Why you sound surprised, Mom?" She said, "Because nobody got suspended from our school because we had black teachers that cared about us." And so when I started looking at the Final Call newspaper, brother, in 1990, and I flipped the page over. I got a photographic memory, so I can remember a lot. Brother Shabazz may tell you that. And I'm a historian. I wasn't good with math in school. I loved history. I want to learn about the struggles and stuff of that nature. So when I began to look at the Final Call newspaper, I flipped it over and it said that they wanted 5 states and they wanted their own land and their own government and their own, their own police department and so forth and so on. I literally in 1990 said, "This is impossible, and it sounds crazy, but I'm going to keep on going to the mosque." But, brother, I was around 24 years old then. I'm 54 years old now. And I'm thinking, wow, Malcolm said coffee, Brother Malcolm X, may he rest in peace. He said coffee is strong when it's black, right? He said, but when you put milk in it, what once wakes you up, puts you to sleep. Yep. He said what once was strong in color is now a little weak and tarnished. And so when I look at the Hispanics in Charlotte, a vibrant community, building stores and restaurants, and they got me going in there, brother, every now and then, grabbing me some pita bread. But my point is that they build their villages inside our villages. So I see nothing wrong with separation, especially if it's going to save our black babies. And what do I mean by that? We look like fools putting our kids back on the school bus after white female teachers have suspended these black boys from school in Charlotte just because they can't deal with their attitude. And I remember a hook by C.L. Smooth and Pete Rock. I told you I love hip-hop, right? And he, of course, is Islamically inclined, but he has a hook, and it says, a man that can't treat you right can't teach you right.
That's right.
He says that verse over and over again with Pete Rock and CL Smooth, with that vibrant music in the back, educating me through rap music. So I believe, brother, that the only way we're going to get some peace, when we look at Dr. King numbers, 300,000 and 310,000 black men in jail. I encourage everybody to Google the 13th Amendment movie. To break everything down from beginning to end, from slavery all the way to President Barack Obama walking in the White House. 13th Amendment, the movie. Look up the movie 13.
Yes, sir.
He said that there was 300,000 brothers in prison when Dr. King was alive, and now there's 1 million. We need separation. We got 5,000 black boys, 5,000 black boys being suspended in school in Charlotte. What about Atlanta? Mm-hmm. What about these alternative schools that's in kids in trailers beside the school in Lancaster, South Carolina? And how do I know? Because I went and spoke to those black boys. And I said, long is the day, because I didn't have a trailer beside my school. If you acted up, you got a whooping when you got home. So when I look at the jails being swelled to the capacity in Fulton, Georgia, as I traveled there last week, brother, where a brother done died, and they said the autopsy, he had bite marks on his shoulder, which means he was fighting for his life. And yet I got to support the father and then put Kenneth Muhammad, a brother from the Nation of Islam who was a lawyer in Atlanta, in place for the family to file a lawsuit against Fulton County for not protecting him. When I look at all these numbers, how they've swelled from the 63 to 2003, we have no choice, brother, but to deal with the reality that Minister Farrakhan has been telling us.
That's right.
Separation is literally the only answer for us to get it right.
That's right.
And I pray that one day we get it right. And if it's just to save souls and keep these boys in school, then I'm with it. I'm with any plan that will help us do better. Because we are, as a people right now, we have some good times, but in reality, we are a mess. We ain't where we used to be. We need to get back to where we were.
That's right. Brothers and sisters, you've been listening to the 10K Fearless Podcast. I am your host, Brother Abdul Shaheed Muhammad. And we want to give a hearty round of applause and a sincere thanks and gratitude to these brothers for coming on and sharing their mind and heart with us about the hard work that they're doing. And we are prayerful that Almighty God Allah will bless and protect them in their comings and goings. Shout out to the Panther Parlor. Keep walking with our brother, Dr. Malik Zulu Shabazz, and make sure he gets to and fro safely. Dear brothers, thank you so much, and may God bless you as I greet you with the greeting words of peace. And we're going to close tonight's broadcast with the track that I wrote some years ago. It's entitled My People. Thank you, Brother Malik Zulu. Thank you, Brother John C. Barnett. May Allah bless you.
Love you, brother. Honor you.
We'll be in touch, my brother. God bless you all.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Beautiful soul.
Yes, sir. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Walaikum salam, bro.
Woo, man. We're going to close it tonight, brothers and sisters, with a track that I wrote some years ago. It's entitled My People.
You're not forsaken. Yes, my people. No matter how bad it looks. My people. Yes, my people. Oh, the people on the hills are through. They all have given up on you. God, Christ, and His faithful one loves your soul. Putting that same love inside of me, that I'd be prepared to set you free. Da, 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 da. He is growing my faith and my people. We can make it. My people, we're not forsaken. Yes, my people. No matter how bad it looks. My people. Yes, my people. Oh.
An evil fisherman has planned to capture us in his net. He makes the game look quick and easy, but he knows far we won't get. A heavy price was paid to redeem me and you. Will you reject the gift that can comfort and relieve you?
The time is short, and the harvest is great. We gotta make a stand, or it's too late. If they only knew, they lift their heads and dry their eyes. We got to tell them a Savior has arrived.
Yes, that was a cut by your brother, yours truly. It's entitled My People. Brothers and sisters, we want to remind you, those who are in Marshall County, Holly Springs, and the surrounding areas, make sure you subscribe to the Final Call newspaper. You can get it door to door. We can bring it right to your doorsteps. If you want to receive the Final Call on a weekly basis, please give us a call at area code 662-252-8999. Or you can email us at dremuhammad1@gmail.com. You can even drop us a line at 10K Fearless, P.O. Box 517, Holly Springs, Mississippi 38635. We have that beautiful Supreme Bean Pie available for you all the way from our bakery in Chicago, Illinois at 7351 Stony Island. Yep, comes all the way from the Chi to the Mississippi, this sip. You can get it at 165 Ida B. Wells, formerly known as Memphis Street. We also have available for donations our 2-pound bags of whiting fish. If you're going to eat fish, shop with your brother. Come and support your brother and sister. Make some donations in exchange for those goods that we have available to you. Once again, we thank everyone for coming and for tuning in tonight. We thank our guests, and we are certainly prayerful that what we've said tonight has benefited you in your spiritual growth and development and served as guidance in these troubling times. But for now, until next week, we leave you as we came before you with the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum.
10,000 fearless on the move.
Let's go! Deep in the delta where the willows grow, in the soil stained by the blood of my ancestors. Punch bowl voices call out to my soul for justice. The wicked will reap what they've sown. Spirit of Aziz is back on the rise. Soldiers in the delta kept it alive. Time to stand up, take our place in the sun. Understand the time and what must be done.
10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. This is it. 10K fearless on the move. Mississippi. Sip.
Gotta make a move and take control. Have something we can call our own. So shine your light, help the people see that now is the time for us to be free. And if you waiting on the pie in the sky, you better wake up fast they told you a lie, cause big fields await the wide awake man. Elijah's got the masses.
10,000 fearless on the move. 10K fearless. Mississippi. 10K fearless on the move. Mississippi. Sip. Injustice, we've had enough. All of our divisions, we're breaking up. Destiny has been calling us. The spirit of the Most High is guiding us.
See, the time is now. What you waiting on? Quit shooting your brothers. Put your gun down. Come on. They got a cage waiting for you if you keep that up. Early graves coming to you. From that, can't raise you up. Now, Sister Ida B and Fannie Lou, check them out and you'll know what to do. But if you really want your enemy to be alarmed, read the final call. Follow Farrakhan.
10,000 fearless